Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about all the mechanics behind damage reflection. Skills with damage reflection are incredibly popular right now. Skills like Sword W Parry Strike, Hunter Hood, and Demon Armor are being used in all kinds of PvP from small scale to ZVZs. So here are a few things that you should know that could help you improve your game in both playing with damage reflection and against it. I'm gonna list these mechanics on the screen right now, and I'll give you some examples afterwards. Okay, so number one, all damage reflecting effects do stack. We'll call the person using the reflecting skill the defender and the person attacking the aggressor. The damage source of the reflected damage is the defender, not the aggressor. This is a very important thing to know because a lot of skill interactions that has to do with damage reflection revolves around this mechanic. Because the source of the reflected damage is the defender, the amount of damage dealt by reflect is calculated with the damage modifiers of the defender and the damage reduction modifiers of the aggressor. The damage reduction modifiers of the defender does not affect the reflected damage. And lastly, the reflected damage will trigger undamaged effects. This is an example of reflection stacking. You notice Onesme is damaging himself here for 20 damage per auto attack while I'm using Retaliate, and 16 while I'm using Deflecting Spin. When I use the two skills together, he takes both the 20 and the 16 in two separate hits. Also notice that he is doing a lot more damage to himself than to me. Because he's not wearing any armor, his own defensive modifiers are lower than mine, so he's taking more damage. The reflected damage is affected by the offensive modifiers of the defender. So in this clip right here, because I'm using a cloth robe, you can see that he's hitting himself for a lot more damage than he was when I was using a leather jacket. And this is not because I was taking more damage. In fact, because I was using Levitate, I was taking no damage. The increase in reflected damage here is purely due to the damage modifier on cloth robes. Because the defensive modifiers of the defender does not actually affect the damage that's being reflected, you can use invulnerability skills together with reflection skills, and you will not take damage during invulnerability, but the person that's hitting you will take damage because they're not invulnerable. Here's another demonstration of this point. You can see here that Onesme was originally hitting himself on my Retaliate for 76 damage, but after using Inner Focus to buff my damage, the reflected damage went up to 99. And after lowering his armor with Rotten Ground, the reflected damage went up to 92. And when I stacked the Inner Focus and Rotten Ground together, the reflected damage went up to 120. Lastly, the reflected damage will trigger undamaged effects such as Shoes of Tenacity, Mage Robe, and Mercenary Jacket. This is why Mage Robe is a very good counter to Hunter's Hood, because when you have Mage Robe on, when you have the Purging Shield going, taking any damage will purge the damage dealer. So if our defender is using Hunter's Hood, and our aggressor turns on his Mage Robe, the aggressor will then automatically purge off the defender's Hunter's Hood when he takes damage from the Retaliate skill. For the same reason, Mercenary Jacket is also a very good combo with Hunter's Hood. The Bloodlust skill on the Mercenary Jacket will heal you for a small amount every time you deal damage. So if you use your Hunter's Hood and your Mercenary Jacket together, every time somebody hits you, you will heal for a small amount. Now let's review the clip that I put at the beginning of this video. This is a very good example of how you can use Reflect to win a fight. You can tell by my skill bar down there that I am running Hunter's Hood with Cleric's Robe. And my partner, my healer Onesme here, is actually also running Hunter's Hood and Cleric's Robe. and we're matched up against a Holy Healer and a Curse Skull for DPS. The Curse player is using a Cultist Cowl. Cultist Cowl puts out a debuff that damages your target every time they use a skill or auto attack. So when I saw the animation of the Cultist Cowl being put on me, I activated my Hunter's Hood and my Clerk Robe together, and I started just spamming auto attacks at the Curse player while standing inside his AoE. The Cleric Robe prevented me from taking damage from any of that, while the Hunter's Hood reflected all of the damage back at its source. The Curse player was taking damage from his own Cultist Cowl, my Qs and auto attacks, his own dots and AoE, and as a result, he dropped almost instantly. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys found it helpful, and as always, please remember to like, subscribe, and check out my Twitch.